Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order. If you'd please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Danny, will you please call roll?
Deputy Mayor Wales.
Here.
Councilmember Baggett.
Here.
Councilmember DeCoursey.
Here.
Councilmember Holman.
Here.
Councilmember Pelosa.
Here.
Councilmember Trout-Manuel. Here. Councilmember Wagner.
Here.
Thank you. All right, I have a proclamation and an announcement tonight, so move over here. All right, first on our agenda this evening is a proclamation for Korean American Day. So if I might ask Mike Park to please come forward. And Mike, I believe you have some guests with you.
Yes.
And if you would like to introduce them, we'll bring them up as well, and we'll do the proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council Member. Happy New Year, by the way. I believe this is first time ever City Council covered by the Korean news media. We have Korean newspaper, Korea Daily reporters is kind of covering this meeting. Oh, she's over there. Okay.
He moves around a lot, doesn't he?
Okay. Tonight we have Korean American Day Foundation Chairperson Junbae Kim. Mr. Kim, please come forward. And Event Chair Kenneth Ko. And Planning Director Mr. Min, Hak Min. 1903, January 13, about little over 100 Korean people arrived Honolulu Harbor. That's the Korean American immigration history, chapter 1. 2007, Governor Christian Gregor signed a law designated January 13 as Korean American Day. So ever since, Korean American community in this region celebrate January 13 as Korean American Day. So we celebrate various locations, but 10th year, we located Auburn Performing Arts Center. That's our venue celebrated 10th year anniversary of the Korean American Day. I really appreciate Mayor Vacca's cooperation with the proclaim the January 13 as a Korean American Day. Really appreciate it, Mayor Vacca's.
Thank you, Mr. Park, and I will read the proclamation. I was afraid at first you were going to say everything that was in this proclamation. It says, whereas, on January 13th, 1903, the arrival of 102 Korean immigrants to the United States initiated the first chapter of Korean immigration. And whereas these first immigrants and their descendants faced and overcame difficult conditions and created a vibrant and successful community that has been characterized by a strong work ethic, dedication to education, and an entrepreneurial spirit. And whereas Korean Americans are important and valued members of the Auburn community, and whereas the City of Auburn celebrates the achievements of the Korean American community and the congressionally endorsed day to recognize Americans of Korean descent. And whereas Korean American Day is an opportunity to recognize the Korean American community in Auburn, whose abilities and contributions strengthen Auburn's culture and economy. Now therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, Washington, do hereby proclaim January 13th, 2017 as Korean American Day in Auburn, Washington, and I call this observance to the attention to all of our citizens. Dated this 3rd day of January, 2017. Mr. Park, thank you. This to you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. And if you would like to accept the appreciation of council for your role in making the Korean American community so vibrant within the city of Auburn. If you would like to step forward, well, I guess they're going to come down this way. All right. Okay. So they'll walk down in front, and you can walk past them and shake their hand if you would.
Okay. Just for the reference information, you know, I was serving the City of Federal Way Council and mayor and deputy mayor long time. So I'm very glad to see some very familiar faces in the Auburn City Council. And a few years ago, the Mayor Lewis and I get along as well, and we're serving some regional committees together. So we have a Korean sister city, City of Donghae. Year 2000, when I was mayor, we signed the sister city agreement. We just passing by Donghae every even number year. But City of Pyeongchang, Auburn sister city, we passing by. So I met the Mayor Kwon and Mayor Lee, and particularly Mayor Kwon. He's interested to looking for some United States sister city. So I talked to Pete. Pete, would you like to have some Korean sister city? He looked through all the data and information. He loved to sign, and that's the one. Pete visited about Pyeongchang about 2 times, I believe.
He was there 3 times.
Oh, 3 times. So I believe the sister city program is not only cultural exchange and economic exchange. I think it's the vital, program for the city of Auburn and Pyeongchang. So I'm looking for some opportunity to, participate in some sister city program later on. So I appreciated council's support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Park. And just as a reminder, Pyeongchang, our sister city in Korea, is going to be the host of the 2018 Winter Olympics. So when we were there this past spring, we were able to visit the Olympic Village, and it is quite impressive. And being on that ski jump, I don't know how they do it, but that's why they're the Olympians. So if you would please go forward and accept the appreciation of council. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Certainly. Certainly. Heather, do you want to wrap it around? How do you want us?
So this picture will be at tomorrow newspaper. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us this evening. It's an honor to have you with us. All right, I have one more presentation this evening, and for this one, I need our city attorney, Mr. Dan Hyde, to come forward, please. It's okay, Dan, I promise. So we make a habit of presenting our directors with their service pins at our city council meetings, because it's important for us that you are aware of the number of years of service that are provided, that are dedicated and loyal years of service. And tonight it is my honor and privilege to present our city attorney, Dan Hyde, his service pin. And I wanted to give you a little bit of information about Dan, and Dan is not one for the limelight, so I know he's over here struggling a little bit, but we can't let this go by, Dan. Dan served our country as a Navy corpsman who served along with the Marines in Vietnam. After returning home, he began his career in municipal service. In 1978, Dan began his career as a deputy prosecuting attorney in Lewis County and has since consecutively worked as a city attorney for the following cities before joining Auburn in 2001. Sunnyside, Toppenish, SeaTac, and Lakewood. In that order, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, I had somebody do a little research. I've got some interesting facts on him. He has also co-authored more than 50 reported appellate cases. True?
I don't keep track.
Somebody did, and they said it's over 50. He has received numerous Washington State Association of Municipal Attorneys awards, including Outstanding Service Award in 2003, Honorary Life Membership in 2004, WSAMA Ernest H. Campbell Award for Outstanding Contributions to Municipal Law in 2005. Dan has an identical twin, and it says here, ironically, that you both have a birthday this Thursday. Is that right?
Well, he has a birthday this Thursday. I just get to be.
You get to celebrate his birthday?
I get to celebrate his birthday.
All right, well, that works. So today, we honor our city attorney for 15 years of loyal, honest, and dedicated service to his city and to his community. And Dan, it is my honor and my privilege to give you your 15-year service pin. And along with that comes a gift. You can probably guess what it is. Dan is a Diet Pepsi fan.
I'm just an enthusiast.
And so in order for him to keep active, we keep him caffeinated. And this is our small token of appreciation to you, Dan,
Well, thank
for your years of service. Is there anything that you would like to say?
Thank you, Mayor. I usually know when I'm going to have something happen. I didn't know this. So.
Well, every now and then we like to surprise you a little
Okay.
bit.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for this. And thank you for this.
Thank you very much, Dan. All right, we will move forward. First on the agenda this evening are appointments, and we have appointments to the Arts Commission. City Council to confirm the following appointments to the Arts Commission. Each will be appointed to serve a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2019. Amy Sy, Kelly Coleman, and Kenneth Greg Watson. Do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Wells.
I move for the.
Your microphone, please.
Thank you. I move for the approval of the 3 named candidates.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Councilmember Pelosa.
I'll second it, Mayor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Wells.
I appreciate the time that those 3 individuals took to go through the application process. We all had ample opportunity to review the applications, and I think we have before us 3 stellar additions to our list of community volunteers.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to comment? Councilmember Pelosa.
Greg, you're back again. And that's wonderful because you are a great contributor to the Arts Commission. Thank you.
Are there any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the Arts Commission appointments, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Passes. we have board and commission reappointments. The city council to confirm the following board and commission reappointments for 3-year terms ending December 31st, 2019. Arts Commission, Jan Jensen, Charlotte Golnick, Carrie Davidson, Donna Smart. Auburn Lodging Tax Advisory Committee, Bob Fraser, Chantel Herberger, Satpal Sohal. Cemetery Board, Judy Rowland, Warren Olson. Human Services Committee, Barbara Dearda. Planning Commission, Ronald Koppel, Joan Mason. Salary Commission, Ronald Beiersdorf, and Urban Tree Board, Brooksy Hall and James Tarango. Do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Wales.
I move for the approval of the named individuals to fill the boards and...
Your microphone, please.
To fill the boards and commissions that you read off.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Councilmember Baggett.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Wales.
Once again, we're fortunate to have people that want to return to these 3-year commitments. They're already trained, ready to go, know the issues, and we are a very lucky committee to have these volunteers.
Thank you very much. Are there any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the reappointments, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Passes. All right. Do we have any agenda modifications, Danny?
No, Your Honor.
All right. We have no public hearings this evening, so we will move to audience participation. This is the place on the agenda where the public is invited to speak to the City Council on any issue. Those wishing to speak are reminded to sign in on the form provided, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Please come forward to the podium and give your name and address for the record.
My name is Jim Olson. I live at 32460 56th Avenue South, Auburn, which is up on West Hill. I'm here to speak on 2 things. One, last meeting you guys passed a car tab tax. This tax is really not a fair tax to the people who, on the poorer side, say they have a family, they're just barely making it, they can afford to pay their taxes, their tabs, and they come out and they're hit with another $20. Where's the $20 come from? It's got to come from somewhere. They can't take it from lodging, so it's got to come up from the food budget. In other words, the poor kids, because we are taking the $20, are going to miss a couple meals. So that's all I have to say about that. I just think it is unfair to the poorer section of the town, and we do have a fairly sizable low-income people in the town here. Second, up in West Hill, we are experiencing uncontrolled growth. There's between 51st Avenue and 58th Avenue, there's close to 200 new homes up there. We have 6 portables sitting outside of elementary school up there, Evergreen Heights. What are we doing? Are we going to be building a new school for these people? If we started school today, these kids are going to be graduated from college before the schools get ready for them. So did we miss planning for this growth up there? The roads are atrocious. We have stoplights, stop signs. We should have stoplights up there to control traffic on 51st and 15th Avenue and 321st. I can't figure which street it is down there, 320th. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, sir. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Please come forward and give your name and address for the record.
My name's Elam Anderson. I live at 301 23rd Street Southeast, 98001. I recently read the Auburn Water Quality Report, but it was from 2015. The latest one isn't out yet. I noticed the maximum amount of fluoride in the report could be as much as 4 parts per million, but it wasn't that high. I think it was 1.75. Recently, I talked to an engineer who said between 0.7 parts per million and 1.2 parts per million is allowable. The Department of Health and Human Services wants all fluoride lowered to a maximum of
Mr. Anderson,
0.7 parts per million.
Could you speak a little
I don't know how far
louder?
to stand from the microphone. I don't know what, I've
Could
never
you
seen one.
just speak a little bit louder? The the microphone will pick it up, but there's some vent noises up here that we're still working on, and so council is having a difficult time hearing you.
So the 4 parts per million level is more than 250 times the amount allowed for lead. Water purchased by the city has fluoride in it. Fluoride is a toxic, dangerous industrial waste product not approved by the FDA. If you swallow toothpaste containing fluoride, you're instructed to go to a hospital emergency room. About 2/3 of the population is exposed to fluoride. Our government admits we have been overdosed on fluoride. 93% of all European countries do not add fluoride to their water. China has over 1 billion people but doesn't allow fluoride at all. The concentration of fluoride in the body tissues increases over time. Your skin is the largest organ in the body. Fluoride is also absorbed while you bathe. When water or soda pop is purchased at the store, it has fluoride, unless it's been through a process called reverse osmosis. A Harvard study reported fluoride lowers IQ, causes hypothyroidism, and ADD. Water treated by an agency such as Metro can't get those harmful trace chemicals out of it. These chemicals come from prescription drugs. This country is only 5% of the world's population, yet consumes almost 95% of all prescription drugs manufactured. That's all.
Thank you.
Get the fluoride out of the water.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Final time. So please come forward and give your name and address for the record.
Virginia Haugen, 2503 R Street Southeast. I think this is the water that you folks drink. I think I see you drinking this stuff. It doesn't have fluoride in it. Enough said about that. That's not why I'm here tonight. I'm here to thank the mayor, Dana Hinman, for always being gracious enough to have important conversations with me. That has happened a couple of times this year. I appreciate that very much. I appreciate the fact that we have people on this council who are willing to serve and sometimes listen to the public. I would like to thank the clerk's office for answering the many records requests that I have put in this year. Where would I be? I would be ill-informed were it not for our city clerk's office. I am very, very grateful to them all. I was listening very carefully to this gentleman about the issues up on the West Hill. I'm very aware of what goes on up there. It makes me sad. I'm very aware of the kinds of issues the other gentleman was talking about. I know a lot about our water system and what we've done with it and to it. I think what he said is very important. I'm glad I got to listen to him. But mostly, thank you for being here. I like the new floor, even though I'm allergic to it. It's pretty. Have a very, I'm not going to say prosperous because that's for me, but please have a very happy new year. Thank you.
Thank you. Final time, is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Can I have one more thing to say?
Dan?
Well, that would be up to the mayor and council.
Okay. Fine, Mr. Elam, if you'd like, or Mr. Anderson, if you'd like to come back up.
When you buy bottled water at the store, the bottle's made out of petroleum. The petroleum, no matter what temperature, slowly leaches into the water. Take one of those bottles, put it in your car on a hot day, and you'll taste it. It's in the water. So there may not be fluoride in the water that she was talking about, but there's chemicals in there from oil, and that's not healthy for you.
Thank you. All right, we will move on. Do we have any correspondence this evening, Danny?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll move on to council ad hoc committee reports. Council ad hoc committee chairs may report on the status of their ad hoc council committee's progress on assigned tasks and may give their recommendation to the city council, if any. We will begin with finance, and that will be Councilmember Baggett.
As members of the Council Ad Hoc Finance Committee, Councilmember Wagner and I reviewed the payroll vouchers and electronic deposits for approximately $2.1 million, and claims vouchers and wire transfers for approximately $2.2 million for the periods December 15th to December 28th.
Holman and I. And so we'll see you next Monday.
Corsi.
Oh, of course, you're right. Sorry. Sorry about that.
All right. We will move to the consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered by the City Council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Wales.
I remembered that time. I move for approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Councilmember DeCoursey.
I'll second the motion, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Wales.
What we have on the consent agenda this time are the minutes from the December 19th, 2016 City Council meeting. And we have the claims vouchers and the payroll vouchers that Councilmember Wagner and Councilmember Baggett reviewed and feel are appropriate for approval.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Passes. All right, we have no unfinished business. We have no new business. We will move on to resolutions. Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Your Honor. Resolution number 5266, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Auburn, Washington, authorizing the mayor to accept a grant from the Washington State Transportation Improvement Board for construction of the Auburn Way South SR 164 sidewalk improvement project.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Holman.
I move for the acceptance of resolution number 5266.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Councilmember Baggett.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Holman.
Yes, this is allowing you to accept a grant from the Washington State Transportation Improvement Board of $400,000 for the Auburn Way South Sidewalk Improvement Project up by the Muckleshoot Casino. Goes from approximately 17th Street Southeast to Muckleshoot Plaza, completing the gap that currently exists through this stretch of the corridor.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Councilmember Pelosa.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to add to the maker of the motion that the preliminary project is $830,000, and this project is currently listed for matching funds of $430,000 by the city. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of resolution number 5266, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Passes. Mr. City Attorney?
Apologize, Your Honor.
No worries.
Resolution number 5267, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Auburn, Washington, authorizing the mayor to execute a second addendum to the public defense contract between the city and Casey Grove, providing for extension of one-year services for the public defender services.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Holman.
I move for the acceptance of resolution 5267.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Councilmember Wagner.
Second the motion, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Holman.
Yes, Casey and Grove have been our public defender for, their firm has been providing our public defense for several years now. This is a one-year extension. They've been doing an exemplary job. We have to remember that part of our legal system requires that every defendant have competent representation, and Casey and Grove have done this extremely well.
Thank you. Councilmember Wagner and then Councilmember DeCoursey.
This is about a $500,000 deal, but it's for over 2,000 cases, and so it's actually, I think they're a very efficient outfit to get this done. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember DeCoursey.
So my question is, Dan,
we say we pay up to the first 2,100 cases for the annual fee. What are we averaging per year total caseload?
I didn't know there was going to be a math question. Our statistics aren't not going up. Really, they're somewhat plateaued, but the court came down with some decisions recently that limited the number of caseloads that public defenders can take, and so it made a difference on what we, not just the city of Auburn, but all cities across the state, have to do in terms of providing public defender services. But I can get those statistics for you, and I will do so and have that for you tomorrow.
Councilmember Pelosi.
I also was concerned about the numbers, and I think it would be good for auditing purposes and accountability to have that listed, and, you know, for year, so we know. Because we are dealing with a $550,000 contract here, and you know, it's not small change. So, Director Coleman, do we do an audit on that 2,100 or on the any parts of this contract?
Hello, I'm new speaker here. As far as what we do, we have the case filings that come to us in the billing. Those are reviewed by the Human Resource Director Roscoe for confirmation of the cases, and then they're forwarded to finance to be paid.
But let me also help out a little bit here. The judge actually has to appoint a public defender. It isn't something that people automatically get. If they go to court and they want a public defender and they're eligible for a public defender, they're going to have to go through that process. The judge actually makes an appointment. So it's not something that even the city has, the prosecutors or even HR has a control over that appointment. That's a judicial decision. So I say that so that it isn't like some other tasks that the city is involved with where we have control over it.
Councilmember Pelosi.
Do we have a report from this company annually?
Yes.
I can answer that. We get a report from Case and Grove on a monthly basis as well as an annual summary.
Okay.
So each month they are reporting to me the number of cases that they were assigned. The Office of Public Defender limits the number of cases any one attorney can be assigned in any year. So it's important that we're tracking that as well from a financial audit perspective as well as a caseload perspective.
Great. Item 1 on page 23 of 44, section 1, the second line. If you look toward the end of that line, it says we got paid at the rate of twice. You see that?
We'll correct that.
Okay. Also, while you're correcting that, could you put in the numerals like 2,100? Would you put 2, 100 in each of those?
We will do so.
Just for more clarity. Also on page 24 of 44, the second paragraph of section 2 in the middle of the page, I don't understand what that means. Item 4, remaining terms unchanged. What does that mean?
This is an amendment to an existing contract, so the only changes to the existing contract are those that are specified. All other terms remain in full force and effect.
Okay, which we did not have attached to this handout.
No, and they've been previously approved, but we can make sure that you have a copy of those contracts as well, if you'd like.
Yeah, I think that would be good, so that we have the whole enchilada in front of us when we're reviewing it.
We will get that to you.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of resolution number 5267, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Passes.
Resolution number 5269, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Auburn, Washington, approving and authorizing the administrative services agreement between the City of Auburn and ICMA Retirement Corporation.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Holman.
I move for the acceptance of Resolution 5269.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Councilmember DeCoursey.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Councilmember Holman.
Yes, this deals with the deferred compensation providers providing to the employees of Auburn, and it's reducing the number of deferred comp providers to two. One, of course, is the state, Washington State Deferred Comp Plan, and the second one is, and which this covers, is an agreement with the administrative services between the city and ICMA Retirement Corporation.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of resolution number 5269, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Passes. All right, we will move to mayor and council member reports. At this time, the mayor and city council may report on their significant city-related activities since the last regular council meeting, and we will begin with Deputy Mayor Wales.
Thank you. I've spent the last couple of weeks visiting with some of our local congregations to talk to them about what they see the needs to be in relationship to providing services for our homeless, and what they are willing to provide on site and what they might be able to contribute to a centralized location. Also, I had an exciting opportunity this afternoon to meet with a couple of citizens that live up on the West Hill and happened to walk some of the streets up there that have no sidewalks or are having issues with traffic. A couple of the citizens led me to believe that we are fortunate to have Joe Walsh, who's going to be putting up there some kind of a meter to monitor the speed and volume of traffic, because there are some real concerns up there. Some of the roads, when there's backed up traffic on Highway 18 and traffic backed up practically all over, some of the roads down over the hill become kind of major thoroughfares. Remember, we have Evergreen Heights Elementary School up there. We are fortunate that our citizens did approve a levy to build some more schools, a couple of elementary schools, which, when they do redistricting, will help with some of the space that our kids require. But still, up there in front of Evergreen Heights, we are in dire need of working with the school district and getting some sidewalks and better parking up there for the safety of our kids. We received heads up a couple of weeks ago that one of our major projects that we were doing in partnership was turned down, but I still think that we need to pursue something where we can get some sidewalks, possibly even out of our own sidewalk fund. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councilmember DeCoursey.
I have no report, just being mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Wagner.
No report, Your Honor.
Councilmember Holman.
No report.
All right, I can see how this is going. Councilmember Baggett.
Echo.
Echo. Councilmember Trout Manuel.
Well, I'm not going to pass this opportunity
Microphone, please. There we go.
by. On December 22nd at 11 o'clock, I, along with Councilmember Pelosa and his wife, had the opportunity to go to the senior center and serve lunch. And it was, I always love going to the senior center and meeting with our elders and be able to serve them. And they share a lot of things that it's on their minds and remind me of what I need to do as a council member. And I tell them, yes, I'll mention that to the mayor, I'll take that to the council, and I'll get back with you. But I always love doing that. It's a lot of fun. Also, early this morning, I'm on the Blue Ribbon Committee. We got up at We meet at 7:30 in the morning, along with the mayor and Councilmember Bob Baggett and I. And this committee is going a long ways. We're really doing some wonderful things to educate the public about healthy eating. One of the committee chairperson got up and talked briefly about her program that she is working with the tribal, Muckleshoot tribe, getting 5 families and teaching them and educating them on how to eat healthy. They received free food to be able to feed their children and learn how to cook. And then they're also are doing classes. They just received $2,500 to educate 4 ladies on the tribal to teach women how to care for their babies, how to breastfeed and stuff like that. We're also working on training for mental health, behavior, and substance abuse. They have Dr. Anderson from the Auburn Multi-Care. He has him with a group of people have come up with the 1.0 training on how to approach and how to deal with mental illness. This is a wonderful program, and we're going to be having more training on this, and hopefully we'll get more people in the community to take part on this, because it's a very important issue on the mental behaviors that we have in our city. And I got on the phone and I made a call to one of my committees, because they mentioned this morning that they would like to present this training to other committees, other groups of people, between 20 to 30 people. And I belong to 2 committees that we have that kind of groups. And I called them and I asked them if who's the person that I can talk to make arrangements to bring this training to their facility. And I'm waiting to get a call, and Pat Bailey is willing to come and talk on behalf of this to get this information out. And with that, that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Pelosa.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Yolanda, for doing part of my report. I'm going to share this with you. I wasn't going to, but I have to. This last week, I drove down to Seattle to the VA hospital to see a buddy of mine. And we took the wrong cutoff, wrong exit to the hospital. So we had to drop down below the big infrastructure of the freeway. And of course, there were homeless tents, you know, spattered around the area. But what got all of us in the vehicle was the trash and garbage on the sidewalks, on the public right-of-way, away from the tents. They're just like, you know, the homeless were dumping the garbage. And one of the guys in the back seat is a veteran, Army veteran, and he said, "What is going on in Seattle?" And this area was right down by the Goodwill Industries. And so I got all hot and bothered today over this. And I called Councilmember Von Reichbauer on the phone, and I said, "You got a minute or 2 of your time?" "Sure." So I told him about this. And it really got my gut. What's happening to our country, folks? It's terrible. So we got through, and it was 5 minutes. And he says, "You got more than 1 minute." So then I got home, and he suggested I send a communication to Patty Hayes, who's the Director of Public Health. Because this is a health issue, folks. It's a big health issue in our region. So I said, "Hi, Patty. It's been a while. Happy New Year. I visited the Seattle VA hospital in the past week. I exited below the freeways, and I just told you, the Goodwill store, continued south, and there were homeless tents along the way on the right-hand side of the road, up underneath the highway structures. What really caught my eye and other passengers in the car were the piles and piles of endless trash and garbage spilling over onto public right-of-way and sidewalks. I understand the homeless people in the area, but an authority needs to pick up the trash and garbage, or we'll end up with a severe public health issue in our region. P.S. I realize this problem is only the tip of the iceberg, and I've asked her to give me a contact at Seattle so I can pass this information on. It wasn't just me in the car, there were 3 other people. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, just a few items. On Monday, the 19th of December, which seems like quite a while ago, I had the opportunity to go down to our community and event center and read The Night Before Christmas to a bunch of little toddlers who had been in the gym for their play date. And it was so much fun seeing them all excited about Christmas and to sit around and listen to The Night Before Christmas and look at it through the eyes of a child again instead of those of an adult who sometimes forgets about the specialness of Christmas. So I really appreciated the chance to do that. On the 21st, we had the Economic Development Council from Seattle come down and do some filming in the city of Auburn for the upcoming Economic Forecast Conference that will be held in Seattle. And Auburn will be displayed prominently in some of the promos that are going to be shown throughout that forecasting conference as one of the leaders in South King County, and how we are doing a good number of things the right way, and how we are taking the lead in economic development in the region. So we should all be proud of that, the role that each of us has played in that. Later in the day, I had a visit from Dr. Jim Brass and some of his kids from Help Northwest, who have come together to do community service in the city of Auburn and also outside of the city of Auburn. And they look at first response and emergency response as their main focus. But these are kids from South Auburn area, and they have a great deal of respect for the community and want to give back to the city of Auburn, and Dr. Brass is doing a great job with those kids. And then later in the day, Councilmember DeCoursey and I met with some of the citizens from the River Mobile Home Community to talk about some safety issues down on I Street and 37th. And I think we came up with some very good solutions. Ingrid Gobb was in the room, and I think we came up with some good solutions for the citizens there, so they're going to feel safe about some, yeah, sure.
And living at the River Manufactured Home Community and coming out of the park every day, multiple times a day usually, with the work that Assistant Director Gobb did, I've already seen an impact of what staff has done to put a pre-warning sign for the stop sign on I Street north and south, and also the orange-colored flags at the top of the stop sign. There's already been an improvement at that intersection, so thank you.
Great, and there's more to come. Okay, and then on Thursday, the 22nd of December, something that I always enjoy doing is working with the Auburn Food Bank for their Christmas food, Christmas basket distribution. And it's always a good opportunity to talk with people, wish them well for the holidays, find out what their stories are, and be able to know that they are going to have a nice Christmas dinner, whether it be a ham, a turkey, or chicken this year. They had the choice, and they were able to go through the lines and get enough food for the families that they are providing a meal for. And as I said, it's always good to know that the families in our community are being fed, especially during the holidays, but it's important throughout the year. And Debbie Christian, who is the executive director of the food bank, we were talking about the number of clients who came through that day. And the surprising thing to me is the numbers have dropped the last 3 years. each of the last 3 years, the number of people who are being served through the food bank has diminished. And that is a good thing for our community. While we definitely have issues surrounding homelessness, and that has increased, the number of families who are needing the services of the food bank has decreased. So we will take our wins whenever we can find them, and we will know they're not all now homeless. Deputy Mayor Wales, thank you. We will find a way to help those in need in our community, but it is good to know that those who are in need of the food are able to get it. And with that, Mr. City Attorney, are we in need of a closed or executive session?
Your Honor, we would request a closed session for collective bargaining issues, and we'd ask the City Council to recess its meeting for that purpose. It shouldn't take very long, but there may be action to follow when the meeting resumes.
All right, we will go into closed session.
Maybe it's time for some clean sweeps in Seattle, huh?
There you go. Oh, oh.
Well, poison water.
Thank you.
Other side of the white line, I guess you could call it the sidewalk. You can push paved shoulder erosion, and campaign gets the dogs go to
King County has harder housing requirements than Auburn does. So we'd have
Anyway, the neighborhood was heartbroken because Bob was a great dog. We even did a memorial for him, which slowed everybody down. Steve, being very upset, his dog was got killed before his very eyes, called the cops and everything. Temporary, your speed is 44, you know, instead of 25. Yeah, temporary, you know. I called the city, talked to Joe, and he said, okay, well, we only have 2 radar units in the city. You're number 9th on the list, and we rotate them out every week. So sometime in the middle of November, we'll come up there, we'll hang this radar thing, we'll collect data for a week, we'll analyze the data, and we'll determine if, yeah, you really have a problem on 360. Great. Nothing happened in November, so I called. Oh, yeah, no, you're still on the list, but again, we only have 2, but we will have one hung and the data collected, and you'll hear from me by the end of December. What day is it? I haven't heard. And I haven't seen a radar thing being hung anywhere.
They're actually stealth radar, so if you see it, that's a problem.
Oh, sweet.
So we do that on purpose. We don't want you to know.
Stealth
what we're doing.
radar?
Stealth radar unit. We don't want you to know that it's there because we don't want to drive.
Okay, cool.
We want to know exactly how they're driving 24 hours a day.
So maybe the data's already been collected and.
It could be, and
I
they may be analyzing it still, but I can talk with Joe tomorrow.
All right.
What was your name?
Terry Lovato. But it's not just 316th we have a speeding problem. I live down 55th. And once those people turn right on 55th, by the time they get down to the other end on Morningside, it's a freeway.
So I'm going to be really honest, we have the same issue everywhere we go. We have neighborhood meetings because unfortunately, and this is just being really honest, not trying to play any games, so much to stop people from speeding.
Right.
People will speed if they want to, and so we can do speed cushions or speed bumps. We can post
Not on
signs.
arterial.
No, I'm just saying, the things we can do, we can do that. But one thing we cannot stop is change people's minds. If they want to speed, they want to speed. And our police chief, in many of the meetings we go to, we have police representatives, our assistant chief, our chief is there, and this is his term, not mine, so please. His term is, we can't fix stupid. People want to be stupid and speed, we can't fix
You're
that.
not pulling out of your my driveway is below the expression hill.
No, I get it, I'm just saying, the only reason it's so.
When they turn, they have to slam on the brakes and turn sideways to keep from hitting you.
So I just wanted, so
That's not
we're
35.
working.
56.
Okay, see, the problem is 56 is an
Take
arterial,
care, Dana.
16's an arterial, 55th's an arterial, and the city says, oh, we can't put speed bumps.
Well, and Ingrid can give you much more technical response, but the short answer is that we typically do not do that.
I think you should make an exception on 316th, because it's right in front of the damn elementary school with no sidewalks.
Or go up there and stand there at 3:30 in
Yeah.
the afternoon.
Do it, yeah.
Or stand in front of my
This
house at
lady
9
just
o'clock at
made
night.
the
When you can hear them
important
coming
point there.
and they
It's
crest the
school
hill.
is up there.
Yeah, with no sidewalks.
Okay, we will call the meeting back to order. Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. This next matter is a resolution number 5268, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Auburn, Washington, approving the collective bargaining agreement between the City of Auburn and the Teamsters Union Local Number 117 outside unit.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Wells.
I move for the approval of Resolution 5268.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Councilmember DeCoursey.
I'll second the motion, Your Honor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Wells.
I want to thank you very much, Rob, once again for the work that you've done. And again, I would like to parrot that the council really appreciates how you illustrated the changes for us, and we feel very comfortable with them.
Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of resolution number 5268, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Passes. Mr. City Attorney, is there any additional business of the city that needs to be taken care of?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we are adjourned.
Aren't you glad